Garnishing my check for student loans is crazy. That just feels so illegal because how dare you? As a citizen of this country, I deserve the right to a free education. And I guess I could have had that if I went to a community college, but I wanted to stay on campus. Regardless, my education should have been free here. Oh, they can kiss my ass.
We are slaves to student debt.
Between myself and my children, I owe $211,000 in student loan debt.
I borrowed $60,000 and now I'm $268,000 in debt.
I borrowed $70,000. Over 10 years, I paid $60,000, and I still owe $75,000 more than I borrowed.
The interest is so high and it's compounded daily, it's predatory.
If these loans don't go away, they're going to garnish my Social Security. So not only do I not have any retirement savings, I have less than what I was promised for every time I paid my Social Security out of my paycheck.
Hey guys, so this garnishment issue is not going to go away even when Trump, if we go through these next 3 years and we don't have a Republican in office, or even if we have a Republican in office, for the sake of being fiscally secure and doing the right thing when it comes to American taxpayer money, I'm happy that Donald Trump turned around and changed the what's viewed as a diploma or professional degree. Because when I hear this from people that borrowed $60,000 in student debt, today I owe $268,000 for the last 40 years, that's crazy. It's stupid. That means to tell me that the education you invested in couldn't help raise your financial awareness, not just that, but also your financial ability or positioning to be able to pay your $60K student loan. That's the stupidest education that you can actually have, is the education that can't pay it for itself. And now when I talk about Rich Dad Poor Dad, like Robert Kiyosaki, Kiyosaki's books like Fake Money, Fake Teachers, all these things, fake. There's a book by Robert Kiyosaki called Fake. It's fake education. This is what we're seeing is fake education. It's not because your money's being garnished or there's a potential for your money to be garnished for not paying your student loans. The bigger problem is you invested your time, energy, and student loan money into a degree that's worthless. So now you can't turn around and pay the $60K. If anything, it puts you in a worse situation because you probably borrowed $60K to make $60K, and really you're not making $60K. You're making somewhere around $40, $45K. So you'll never be able to repay that. And you'll put it in forbearance. You'll let it run. And next thing you know, you got $268K in front of you, and it's 40 years later. We have to know and be conscious of what we invest our money in. Right now, investing your time in your education in things that are AI related, blockchain related, AI, cybersecurity related. These are things that cloud-based storage related. These are things that will actually grow and scale the market. This will scale your value in the market. I took the time to learn about prompt engineering and AI engineering simply because writing better prompts will help me produce better content through the AI mechanism, the AI large learning model mechanism, large learning model. But through it, I'll be able to now program AI and get what I'm looking for from it, and not be scratching my head asking my kids or asking somebody else, how do you do this? How do you build a receptionist that answers incoming calls, shoots you a text message with it? How do you do that? How do I put that into actively in my business, and what does that look like? So now we've got this big gap that's taking place, and people are going to need to know these skills. This is the false education. This is the result of false education, learning things that we really don't need to know. We don't. It seems like the degrees that they got were worthless. They should have said what degree they got to be a warning to others. And a lot of people don't share. I think it's a shame that comes with that. Saying I got a degree in social, what is it? Let's say social sciences. You want to be a psychiatrist, but you really don't make any money. And I've seen psychiatrists. I mean, I have a little cousin, he goes to a psychiatrist, and I know what they get paid and how they get paid. It's not, I mean, they do a great service helping people kind of deal with their thoughts. But if they're going 60,000, 70,000 into debt to come out to be able to do a $35 to $150 session, you got to wonder if this makes sense or not. And we keep talking about it. I've always been an advocate for learning what you need to know at that point in time. When I needed to know how to sell real estate, I learned real estate. When I needed to know how to wholesale and do creative things, I learned that. When I needed to know business and how to structure an LLC, I learned that. I didn't take the time and say, oh, I'm going to do 50 courses, one of them being basket weaving and clay sculpting in order to get a degree in business. Even though, now don't get it twisted, these things are important. You can get a degree. I'm not saying don't get a degree. Get a degree, but make it just make sense. And we got to tell our children this, because they're still under this deception. And I have to get with my daughter on this, because she's a double threat. I tell her, you are an entrepreneur. Your line is awesome. You have a great great jewelry line, and you're a student, not just an A student, but you're an honor, doing college courses in high school. Now, don't be deceived if you go into these courses and you know more than others. They come out and you go in for engineering, you come out, you're making 98. Don't get to the place of saying that, oh man, I made this engineering degree, this is it, and this is where it stops. Because we know where we're going to in the future. Where we're going to is there's no such thing as just having one job. You really do need to have a business, and you really do need to brand yourself. Like, you got to have your own brand. You have to be your own brand. And I see it through LinkedIn influencers, how they put content out there on LinkedIn, and they're their own brand, and they're telling people about how to sell, how to integrate AI workflow into your daily base. They become more valuable to that employer that says, oh man, shoot, this kid is always telling this. We got a spot open. Let's see if we can bring him on. The game is changing. The game is changing. My friend, we're getting out of the Marines. His wife got a creative writing degree for children's books, ended up being a bank teller after she graduated. I've seen shit like that so much, man, and it's crazy. We get into a place where we just get into that days where we think having a degree is going to solve our situation and what's going on inside, like the tug of war. Or some of them get it for a level of significance. I used to laugh at the fact that women in the 60s and the 70s were advocating to be free from men, this whole rise of feminism, to be free from men, getting their degree when the men were paying the bills in the house, and it was really a soft life. So a bunch of women got on board with that. Now you've got this ideology, because not all women need to have degrees. Not all people need to have degrees. Some of y'all really should have found a man, got married, had children. Honestly, you really should have. And you would really probably don't want to hear that, but that probably would have been the most significant, purposeful thing you could do with your life. And in the midst of that, discover yourself, and then find out that you can have a second career and a second life outside of the house, doing other things too. But you didn't need to do that. And you say, how do I know, Leon, you're being sexist, you're being worthless? Because how do I know? I've seen it. I've seen it through women. I've seen it, the mistakes that they've made. I've seen it, the places that they're in right now, providing for their family. I've seen it. I've seen it. I've seen it. I've seen it. And what's worse than that is a lot of these people like her provide evidence and proof of what I'm saying is being true. Look, you're like, Leon, how have you seen it? Personally, I've seen it. Personally, I've seen it. Personally, I've seen it. There are women that really, I guess they fight the whole social structure of being a woman and being at home with children, or they find value as a woman through their degree and their education. Your value as a woman, we don't value based on, men don't value based on your education, your degree. And I'm pointing the finger at women, and I'm talking about women, but honestly, it's men too. It's not just women, man. It's men too. It's trying to find significance in things like this, and you can't find your significance in anything like this.
For the last 40 years.
I'm the very first person in my family that ever went to college. But I am the worst off right now than everybody in my family.
Taking out student loans.
She's the... I don't even think she realized what she said. If you were somebody listening to this, it sounds to me like she's saying going to college made her the worst off in her family.
This was the worst mistake of my life.
Life insurance policies just to pay student debt. Yeah, what the fuck is that? Yes.
Joe Biden can fix this, and he can fix it today. There's the provision 902.2, which
Biden ain't fixed shit. Man, this is what I'm saying. Like, dude, this is sad, bro. This is really horrible. This is really bad. This is really sad. Oh my God. It's sad to see this. You know, low key, I'm glad I was a C student. I'm glad I was a CB student. I'm glad. I looked at it, and I looked at the system. I said, this shit doesn't make sense. I'm glad. It just took people just telling me, like my uncle, man, listen, go to the military. You're going to learn a lot in the military. You can get money for school there. And then you know how you like to do this. And you know how you like to do that. You got all this energy. You like martial arts. You like fighting. You like doing this, blah, blah, blah. Go. Dope. Best bit of advice. Only thing I probably wished he would have tiered on top of that was, while you're in it, get a technical. While you're in there, get a technical. And that's what I tell my son. I told my son this. I told my little cousins this. I told a couple of my friends' children this. Go. You don't even have to go full time. You can go reserve. If you have no children, you have no responsibility, fuck, go see the world. Go do it. And get some skills while you're there. Stack your cheddar while you're in. You only got 4 years. That's it. But there's so many alternative paths, and I'm not saying do what I do or do it like this. Hell, some of these kids need to come out and just go to HVAC school. Need to be a plumber, need to be an electrician. They need to do it. They got bamboozled.
Need to check it out and try to get a repayment plan going on before they do that, because I can't afford to have my wages seized.
The Trump administration announcing today it's moving forward with a plan to begin seizing pay from student loan borrowers in default. We could see that change come as soon as January. Ozarks First, Michael McLaughlin live in Springfield tonight. He spoke to a resident still paying off her debt today and a financial advisor on how people can stay in control of their money.
Yeah, you're right about that. The maturity aspect, we ask these kids to be mature, 18, coming out of high school, seniors. I know I wasn't mature. And that's why we wonder when they get to some of these colleges, they pledge to frats and they do the stupid, crazy shit. Or they get on college campuses and they argue that the whole system is effed up and people need to leave. That's not, it's a conditioned immature mind. It's just a conditioned immature mind. It's a mind that hasn't experienced any level of stress upon it, nor had any real challenges outside of memorize this and have this back in in 2 days in this pile or submit it online on this site. That's not maturity. That's not maturity. Maturity has to come with is forced to come based upon your decisions you make. And those decisions have to have some level of stress on your mind and body, training you to make better decisions and to have a level of critical thinking about what you execute upon. These are some of the things when people, I look at some of the countries that allow their kids to go to the military and it's a required service before actually going into civilian life. I wonder why we don't have that. I wonder why. If we had that, I believe the level of maturity in our country would skyrocket. But at the same time, you still would have the advocates that say we have the right to not do that, and what you're required, this goes against our freedom. And that's true. That's why it's got to be served. But we fall behind in not allowing them to mature like China does. I mean, their children, regardless if you like it or not, their children are very mature, very mature.
Right, so when someone doesn't make a loan payment within 9 months, it'll then become defaulted, meaning that the government will have the right to take around 15% of their wage to pay off said debt.
I was not aware of that. They have already been seizing my tax refund every year.
Jessica Carey tells me she still has a significant amount of student debt to pay off.
I think it's about 60 grand or something like that. I got a bachelor's degree, then I went to grad school for a year, and then I did some other stuff and borrowed a bunch.
She says she can't afford to go into
A bachelor's degree and grad school. Damn. Man, jeez.
default.
I really do need to check it out and try to get a repayment plan going on before they do that. Because I can't afford to have my wages seized. Tax season's coming up, and I don't want them to, I really needed that refund this year, so I don't know what to do.
I spoke to Richard Baker with Fervent Wealth Management. He tells me the first thing borrowers should do is see what can be done to get caught up on payments.
You don't want to owe Uncle Sam money, right? So do whatever you can. They're workable, they're common sense people. So reach out to them saying, what payments do I need to make? Is a minimum payment I need to do to get out of default so that you can be in control.
And then adjust your weekly budget accordingly.
The main thing on your budget is to make it breathable. You don't want the anxiety, you don't want the stress, so figure out ways to lower what you can, and it's usually those big lever items. It's your rent, it's your budget, it's your gas, it's your utilities.
For those struggling in Springfield, Baker recommends taking advantage of local resources.
Credit counseling services is part of the Catholic Charities here.
Man. This is some BS, bro. This is really BS, bro. It's really, it is. All of the pride and arrogance that these people hold in telling you to get your degree and to commit yourself to pay, let this pay your spend the money on your education. It's twisted. It's so twisted. It's so twisted, and we keep running into it faster and harder. I'm going to say this and I'm going to go to the next program. Your life will change when you stop listening to everybody telling you what to do and listen to what God is telling you in your spirit to do. Because I'm so happy. I remember I was in my second semester at Morehouse, and I told my aunt, I'm not going to Morehouse in Atlanta. I'm going to quit school and I'm going to become a real estate agent. I'm going to become a real estate broker, and I want to go into real estate. And it wasn't something that I thought through at all. It was something that I'm literally praying at the kitchen table. My mom had left. I had just gotten back. I had just gotten back from a tour in this is right after my first year serving 9/11, when 9/11 hit. And when I got back, my intention was to go and finish school because it cut right into the middle of the semester. Had to go, mobilize immediately. I was in the reserve at that time. And boy, when I came back and I told her I'm not going to finish school, I'm just going to go in and get my real estate license, she looked at me like I was crazy. Like I was crazy. Nope. Mind you, nobody took the time to say you're getting a degree from a liberal arts school. You probably want to, if you're going to do business, you probably want to go to a B school, probably if that's what you want to focus on. But even if they would have told me it, when I looked at how much money was being spent just to go to school there and that I was paying out of pocket, God, I was so happy my mom was working for Spelman at that time. I started to get, to do that. But I realized it wasn't, and I knew that it wasn't going to work when I got back, the president of Morehouse, when I went in to do my degree, get my classes back, show, that I'm out of service right now and I need to get back in my classes, blah, blah, blah. Give them all the military stuff that they needed. First question was, how are you going to pay for it? I said, my mom works at Spelman. She's been there the last 7 years. She qualifies. I go to school free. I was just here last year, but I got, activated for military service, blah, blah, blah. Them jokers said, well, you've already reached the age restriction. I'm like, damn, what do you mean age restriction? You've already reached the age restriction. I think the age restriction was 19, or I think it was. It was right there, like 19. The signs that I needed to make a change and didn't need to go down that route was staring me right there in the face. The direction was given to me. A lot of people just keep running and running and running, and we look for these things to validate us. And I wanted that to validate me. Think about it. I mean, a Morehouse grad, all I could see that, oh yeah, prior military. Look at my pedigree, prior military, Morehouse grad, served, MI, did da-da-da-da-da, in the Army, did this. It would have dressed me up for Congress like some type of constituency, something. I was building my personal resume. No, don't do Morehouse. I said, okay, let me go to Georgia Tech, Georgia State. Don't do Tech State. Go and learn business out there in the wild, dealing with people and their shit. And what truly is business. Learn it. Suffer after grad school. I wonder if the other suffer was probably studying abroad, which is other stuff. Oh, other stuff. Yeah. Studying abroad, which is a big cost. Or my favorite, just add it to my account and I would pay once I get my job. Yeah, that is the thing, right? Add it to my account and I'll pay it once I get my job. The biggest piece is knowing what you need to do. Don't let somebody tell you how you design. Basically, don't tell them. Don't let them tell you how you design. Don't do that, man.